Hello everyone, welcome to this webinar on the PowerPack for Autodesk Revit, featuring the 3D view commands that are available inside the PowerPack. Okay, introductions to myself. My name is Simon Dickinson. I'm the BIM Technical Manager for Graitec in the UK. A little bit about myself. I've been with Graitec Microcad now for 19 years. I've been sort of an advocate of BIM and the workflows in BIM for the past 18 years. I'm an Autodesk certified professional, and I'm also an Autodesk certified instructor. A little bit background about ourselves. Graitec, if you're not 100% sure about exactly who we are. Basically, you know, we've been in business now for 30 plus years. Our headquarters are actually in Paris, Bervies, in Paris, in France. We operate across 11 countries worldwide, and we have over 48 offices. You know, we've got a good, healthy turnover. We're a well-established company, and we are growing constantly, slightly in the last year, even through the bad times. You know, we've got a good level of staff, and the majority of our staff are technically focused. We've got a big R&D company in Romania that actually produce all of our BIM solutions, including the PowerPack for Revit. And, you know, we've worked on millions of projects worldwide with our customers, and we're very much customers focused. Customers always come first, and, you know, we get a lot of satisfaction out of making sure that you guys are successful in the projects that you do. As a business, we've sort of got 4 pillars, our main 4 pillars, which is the create, simulate, fabricate, and manage. So from the create point of view, you know, we've got the Autodesk products, which we specialize in, but we also enhance that with our Graitec PowerPack. So there's several PowerPacks available. Obviously, the one that we're going to talk about today is the PowerPack for Revit. From a simulate point of view, we have some very, very good tools to help with the simulation of our designs. Structural analysis being one of our main focuses, with a product called Advanced Design. When it comes to fabrication, we have a fabrication company as well. So if you're taking your BIM deliverables through to finished fabrication, product and site delivery, we actually have tools which target that area of the business as well. So if you're interested in taking what we're doing here further, we can do that. Then we also have our Manage, which are our data management system. Some of you have come across the OpenTree product, where we can use this for managing our data and the IP collaboration. You know, so we do have access and links to that to many external common data environments as well. Okay, so let's have a look at the 3D view tools that we actually have in the PowerPack. And there's quite a few for generating 3D information very quickly and efficiently. So within the PowerPack, there's actually a couple of sections. The main one is the 3D views, okay? And in there, we've got the ability to create various different data very quickly and rapidly. It's nothing that you can't manually create in Revit. What we've done is we've created productivity tools to automate a lot of the features and the things that we're trying to achieve on a day-to-day basis of creating 3D views of certain elements. So the first thing that we've got is we've got the level displacement tools. Now, some of you beware of the displacement tools that were added into Revit quite a while ago now, the exploded views, but it was very manual in the way that we could separate our building up. We have got some really cool tools which automate that separation. There's a few things you just need to watch with the way that your model's been created, but in most cases, this will give us a really nice way to automate these displaced views. Once you've done that as well, if you want to reset everything, we've got a tool that basically will put everything back in with a one-click tool. One of my favorite ones is the 3D view for each level. What that will do is that will allow us to take our building and basically create a 3D view of each of the levels within our building very, very quickly. If you were doing that using the standard Revit tools, you'd have to use the right-click option on the view cube in a 3D view. You can then orientate it to a level. Then you've got to duplicate that view, right-click, orientate to a level, duplicate the view, right-click, orientate to a level. And we've got some really nice tools which will absolutely speed that process up very, very quickly. We also have an auto section box in there as well. Now, this was a tool that we introduced just before Autodesk introduced very, very similar function into Revit. But again, we add in there some additional functionality into the way that our auto section box operates, which gives us a little bit more control about how we do that auto sectioning, where the Autodesk tool is a little bit limited in the options. So again, we've just basically tried to create a slightly better tool for doing something similar, but giving you more control about how that actually works. As well as having that the drop down for them 3D views, we've now also got in here this section box tool. And the section box tool is really clever. I really like this. And again, it's giving us a little bit more control over just being able to enable a section box around an object, pull and push where the section planes are. This gives us a little bit more control over being able to auto section a building. You know, if you've ever tried doing a section box on a building, you put your section box on, you get your grips, your little pull arrows. Dragging them around sometimes can be a bit hard. You know, you're having to rotate the building. This just gives us a really neat way of actually controlling that. And there's four main tools in there. So there's the main section box. We've got access to control how we section it. We've got a cutting step value, and I'll come on to that as we do it, which controls the step of how far it steps at a time. And then we've got the ability to reverse the plane. So whether we're doing the front X, the back X, the front Y, the back Y, etc. Okay. So there's some really nice features in there as well. So without further ado, let me show you these 3D tools actually working in action. So let me just pop over here to Revit. So here we have a building, and I can just go to this normal this view. So we've got oversight on here and everything at the moment. Okay. So here is the 3D view. Some of you recognize this as the sample model that comes with Revit. Here is the PowerPack. Yeah, so here is our PowerPack with all the tools on it. We've got over 70 plus tools now within the PowerPack, so there's lots of features and functionalities in here. If there's tools in here you don't use, we can come in here and we can turn off different sections. So if all I was interested in is the modeling tools, I can do that, and it will take the modeling tools only, and it'll take some of the other functionality out of there as well. What we can also do, as well as having that quick setting, we can also come into here and you can turn on and off individual icons. There's bound to be some tools within the PowerPack that you might not need. Let's just go back to all in there. Okay, so as I say, that's all the tools, and then we can go back into there, PowerPack customization, and we can then specify which sections and which tools we actually want. So you can turn off, if I came here to the annotation, I can either turn off the whole section of annotation, yeah, or so I'll get rid of the whole of that ribbon, or I can just turn on and off the tools which I don't want. Okay, we can even save our setup, and we can load our setup. So once we're happy with it, even if we move to a new machine, we can take that with us as well. I'm currently running the latest release of our PowerPack, 2021.1. Just to make you aware that our PowerPack, we create it as bi-directional versions. So if you are still working in Revit 2020, you can still install the latest version of the PowerPack, the 2021.1 version, into Revit 2020. Yeah, and we've always made them bi-versional, so the versions will always install in the current two versions, and obviously previous release is the same as well. Okay, so These are the tools we're going to look at. Here's our 3D tools, okay? And if I come into here, the first tool we've got is this level displacement. So what I'm going to do is I can choose my level displacement, and it will take my entire model. It's quite a big model, and it will basically do this full level displacement where it will actually take our building and more or less explode it, okay? We can still carry on using some of the other tools within the displaced objects. So if I select this, look, it knows it's a displaced set. And this, we can still utilize it with the Revit ones. If I wanted to put a path in there. So what we can start to do is we can start to put these path lines in. So we can start to look at simulating where these objects have actually been exploded from as well. If we decide we didn't want it like that, I can simply go back to my PowerPack. Go to here and I can reset that, and we can reset the building back to where we want it to be. Okay, so that's obviously in the view that we're in. If I just pull my project browser out, so that is going to be in here. If I went to one of the other 3D views, obviously it's going to be specific to that view. Okay, so that is our level displacement tools that we actually have in here. Below that, we've got this one now that allows us to do the 3D view by each level. Now, what we could do, there's nothing to, and this is where it just gets a little bit more awkward with the way that Revit works. If I just go VG, what I'm going to do is let's just turn off, the topo surface, and let's turn off our site items. Okay, and let's turn off, say, planting. Just apply on there. We've got parking as well. Let's turn the parking off. Okay. So here's my view. This is the default 3D view. I'm just going to right click on there and I'm going to rename this to, let's name it to 01 entry 3D. Okay. So I've had to rename that. Then what I can do here in the in normal Revit, I could right click on the view cube and I can then orientate this to floor plan, and I'll orientate it to the entry level. Okay. This will then create an orientated view of that, but it orientates it to the same view, if you like. So it's a flat view. Yeah. What I can do then is, I'd have to come into here, I set the alignment up, and we've now got that cropped view based on this view. Okay. If I wanted to do that again for the next level, I'm going to have to right click, duplicate that view, and so on and so forth. Okay. It can get a little bit tiresome coming in, turning everything off and creating them views. What we can actually do with the PowerPack, okay, is if I just do an undo on that, let's just go back. So let's just take that back to you. If I went into the entry level, a couple of settings I just need to make a note of, just to make this work. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a look at a section in this building. Let's just take a section there. Okay. Here's the section. Let's just pull that up so that we can actually see the section. Yeah. So what we have is we've got our levels. Okay, and we've got the levels between here. There might be a ceiling in there. In this case, it's not too bad. But what I want is I want a 3D view of each of these levels, and I want this to be really quickly. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to go to the PowerPack 3D views, 3D view for each level. Okay, and there's a few settings in there it's going to let me choose. One is the base view. Okay, so the base view is the visibility settings that I want to use. So I'm going to use this entry level 3D because it's got my settings turned off that I don't need. Okay, I probably don't need the roof and the parapet. I just want level 1, level 2, and level 3. Then we have the ability to put a top offset in here. So this is the offset down from the top level. So I'm just going to set that, say, minus 500. If it was a ceiling in there and I wanted to make sure that the ceiling wasn't included, then I can go below that. The right click on the view cube actually takes your view range settings in for each view. So sometimes, you might have a view where the view range settings are not showing the floor, they're slightly raised up. That's where the right click option just doesn't quite do what we need it to do. So I'm going to put that in, and I'm also going to put a minus 100 in there just to start to get, well, let's go minus 500, just get the bit of the level below as well. Okay. What it will do is it will now, if I click OK, it will create the 3D views. Look, I could have got it to open them. There's a tick box there to force it to open, but what it's done is it's automatically created this. Yeah, I maybe shouldn't have called that one the generic one, but you can see where we've actually now got each of these levels set up, yeah, with the cut views that I want. And I should have set the setting a little bit lower than where I did. But that will generate automatically the views, and it will orientate them to the same place as well. If I just come into this view, okay, one of the other tools that we have in there is, here we have a table, and what I could do in Revit would be to, on here, look, we have a section box, or BX for short. If I click on that, that will create a 3D view of that object. However, it has automatically modified my default 3D view. Okay, I might not want that to happen. Okay, so if I click on there, if I go to the PowerPack and I click on this downside here, we've got this auto section box. So I click on auto section box and we get a few tools. Okay, we get the view again that I want to use the view settings from. Okay, what it will do is, at the moment, it will override that view. Might not want it to do that. I then got this offset. Now, this is the offset on the XYZ planes, or the UVW planes, if you like, around that object. So I can basically say I want a maybe a 1 meter box around there. So this is specifying the size of the section box it's going to create on there. Okay. I can then say I want to duplicate that view because I don't want to overwrite it. I've got the option to save the orientation and lock the view so that I can go straight into annotation. So that's where we can, you might be aware, you can lock a 3D view so that you can then start to put dimensions on there and text notes and other information we might want to see in there, tagging. So I could choose that. And I could also get it to hide the section box as well. So the section box will automatically be switched off when it creates that. And as you can see, I'm starting to get this next object in here because I set a 1 meter box, and I can very, very quickly create these section views. Yeah? So I told it not to, but I could also, as I remember, I could also get it to save and lock the view for annotational purposes. And so I can then start to put as much annotation into that view as I need. Okay, I'm just going to go back to this entry 3D. Okay, what we can do, as you're aware in Revit, I can actually turn on a section box. Yeah, let me just go VG. For some reason, the section box is turned off in this view. Or saying that, let me just where's my crop region in there? Let me just there we go. Oops, not that one. Section box. Uncrop that, sorry. That's good. That's not putting the section box. I'm going to go to one that's actually got the. Let me just do an orientate view, see if I can get my section box back on in there. What is it? Tell you what, I know what I'm going to do. Let me just undo that. Do not crop view. Let me just find there it is. It's been hidden in view. Sorry about that. Let me just unhide element. Okay. Turn that back off. So here is a section box, and what we get normally, we get these windows, and we can start to control and we can start to pull that down, but sometimes trying to get hold of that is a little bit awkward. Okay, so what we have within our little tools over here, we have our section box tool. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to enable my section box. Okay, and here's my section box tool, and what we can do is I can specify how I want to adjust the section box on this view. And I can adjust the X, Y, Z plane. So if I choose the Z plane, okay. With a Z plane, if I press and hold Control, yeah, I can use my wheel on my mouse and I can adjust where that section box is. So each click of my wheel will start to adjust the section box. The distance that it actually does the sectioning at is based on this sectioning value. So if I only wanted that to move a meter at a time, okay, I can come in, press and hold my Control key and literally roll my mouse, okay, and we can now move that accordingly. Oh, sorry, 1000, yeah, and I can then control that by a meter at a time. So I've got a lot of control over that. It might be that I want to look at one of the other planes, so let's switch that to the X. Yeah, and now when I move that, you can see that the X plane is moving down. Okay, and each click of the wheel is going to allow me to move it 1 meter, and I can start to do these 1 meter increments through. So it's very nice, easy control over that. If I want to move the plane at the other side, this is where this flip or reverse plane tool comes in. So I can click reverse, okay, I can press and hold the Control key, and that will now utilize the other plane. Okay, if you wanted to really quickly do it, you can still, as you would do normally, if you wanted to quickly just pull that in, then we can pull that to a point. It just means within our PowerPack we've just got a little bit more control now. As soon as I go back to Control, I've now got this 1 meter grip. So again, it's a nice little feature. If you rotate the crop box, the section box, again, these will still work actually on that section box. So there's some really nice little tools that we've developed to automate the way that these 3D tools work. Okay. Another little tip that I sometimes use as well when I am starting a section, sometimes I like to change the color of the edges. Just a little tip and a trick here is if I go to VG, if we go to our, let's do walls first. What I will do is come into my walls, where we get the cut line and patterns. Yeah, let's just override that to red. Let's set this pattern to be a solid, and we'll set that to red too. And I sometimes do the same with, I'll do the same with floors. And we can force that to be a solid red. Yeah, I can do the lines as well. It doesn't really matter. The lines won't show up too much. Then I might want to do the structural slabs. There's probably my structural foundations in here, look, and we'll just do the same with them as well. And we'll do the same over here with the patterns. Making sure we override that to a solid one as well. Okay. So then what I can start to do, I just need to get my slab edges sorted in there. We can start to get a red boundary on where we're doing it. And then of course you can save that. You know, the one thing that we can always do then is right click and you can save that. Yeah, so we can create a view template from that and we can call it 3D sectioned in red. Okay, so that when I'm then moving forward, we can then start to utilize that again within our sectioning tools. Okay, as I said, just remember, you know, depending on what that object is, yeah, that's actually a ground beam. And then of course we've got things like there, which is going to be the slab edge. So we just need to make sure that when you're doing that, that we make sure that that information has also been set up to have the override in there. Okay. But we can very quickly create them. As I mentioned before, there are 70 plus tools that we now have in here. One of the tools I quite like is the category visibility. So we all are aware of VG, visibility graphics. The one thing to watch out for here is, of course, this is showing me every conceivable category that is currently available in Revit today. Okay, and as you know, Autodesk keep adding things into here. They've added some new ones in this year for the infrastructure, but it's listing all of them. So this list can be quite big. We've got a little one here called category visibility, very similar to visibility graphics. The only difference is what ours does is it looks at this view and any hidden objects, but it will only show me the categories of elements that actually exist in this view. So rather than having that huge list of model categories, I don't need to worry about it. Even when it comes to annotation, look, it's only showing me the basic level of annotation that I need to know that's in this view, and we can change that as well. Another little top tip which I like as well is you'll notice in here that I've actually got a shortcut next to there. So I've got GV for Graitec visibility as a shortcut in here. If I wanted to have in here, look where it says level displace, okay, so I wanted a shortcut for that. What you can actually do is if we go to our user interface and we go to our keyboard shortcuts, okay, any command, yeah, so if I just search in the level dis, yeah, or it's probably under, let me find, it's going to be under 3D views, okay. We basically have, here we go, there's the level displace, look, PowerPack 3D views, there's my level displace, LD, oops, LD, add. Yeah, so I can basically add that in. Now apparently the shortcut LD is currently signed to the command loads, yeah. However, what we can do is, believe it or not, in Revit you can actually have a shortcut that operates multiple commands. So there's the shortcut, and it will instantly now update that command. So if I come into there and I go to level displacement, I hover over it, it's now added that shortcut. So it doesn't matter the fact that this is the Graitec PowerPack. If you want to add shortcuts to any of the commands within the PowerPack, you can do. So there you have it. There are our 3D views that we have inside the PowerPack, adding productivity and additional speed into your day-to-day workflows. Okay, so if anyone's got any questions, feel free to ask them now. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you've got. You just want to type in the questions you've got in the chat box. Cool, no questions. In which case, do look out for on social media for other webinars on the PowerPack. You know, we're regularly posting about Autodesk and Graitec, both on our UK site, so the graitec.co.uk, and also the graitec.com. Follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on LinkedIn, and we have a lot of videos on YouTube as well. Thank you ever so much for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing you on our future webinars.
Graitec.